If it's news to you, it's important to him. From now till noon, stay connected. Here's Elias Makos, CJAD 800.
All right. The theme of today's panel is revenge and spite. Are you excited? Hi, everybody. It's Elias Makos here. You can reach me at Elias Makos on social media. I'm very excited for this edition of the panel. My team is excited. The people in our studio are excited. Trudie Mason.
Good morning.
Excited?
Absolutely.
Thumbs up from Trudie. David Heurtel, also on the panel, former Liberal cabinet minister. Are you excited?
Totally excited, Elias.
Okay, guys. I'm excited about the first topic, not because, to be honest, as a panel topic debate issue, it's the greatest topic, but the last time I spoke about Rona on this program, and I had a guest on, and we talked about Rona, the people from Rona, like, we never hear from them, right? We can ask them, hey, can we have someone on the show? Never hear from them. Bupkis. And we talked about Rona on the show, me and the guest, and we said a few things, and then we got like a little curt email from Rona PR with a correction and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just hoping I get an email out of this, okay? Lowe's closing down 34 stores across Canada. Quebec always seems to get the brunt of these closures for some reason. 12 of those here in La Belle Province. I guess I don't want to get Rona angry at me again, or Lowe's angry at me again, but I'll take the risk. Selling it to the Americans all those years back when François Legault was in the not in government and yelling at the Liberals and yelling at you, David Heurtel, and your party.
Yes, sir.
Now that the tables are turned, he's in charge of the government. Can he do anything differently?
No, he can't do anything. And the thing is that he's going to try to score some points and hit the previous Liberal government as he did in the opposition when the Liberals didn't step in and buy Rona. But there were discussions. Let's remember, there were a lot of discussions between the case and Rona before the Lowe's buyout. And
the case thought it was a stinker.
That's right. The case couldn't get together with the Rona management. And the Rona model, remember, and the reason why you were saying in your intro, seems to be a lot of stores in Quebec. Remember, Rona at the base is a Quebec-based company, which grew a lot across Canada, but the model was a lot of smaller, independent, mom-and-pop type stores in the regions, which is CAC-rich for votes, right? Mm-hmm. And the nationalism discourse and the economic nationalism discourse scores high. But at the same time, Lowe's comes in, buys this, fairly and squarely, and their model is big box stores. So obviously, this is going to happen. You may be for it or against it, but this is where the economy is going in all kinds of sectors, and it was foreseeable because the Rona model wasn't working even before Lowe's came in.
Trudie, should the CAQ government open its own brand of hardware stores? What say you?
No. And the Liberals before them made the right decision in not meddling in this. This was a business decision. And if Quebec-based Rona couldn't find Quebec-based buyers, I'm not getting my knickers in a twist. That was Quebec investors taking a look at that chain and saying no thanks.
Thoroughly.
I don't want my government stepping into retail hardware to prop up a chain that apparently is malfunctioning. That's not the role of government. There are jobs involved, yes, but retail jobs come and go. We know that. There are ups and downs. And that's not the type of job that I think our government should be chasing. This is not an essential service. This is not a key technological industry. This is a retail operation. And the laws of supply and demand rule. You know what? I think if these stores are closing, it might be because some of these communities are overserved. Mm-hmm. How many hardware stores do... I love competition because I think it helps keep prices low. But just in my little area, I have 2 giant big box stores. One of them are Rona, plus all kinds of little tiny ones that I can go to. So let the market rule. This is retail.
Politically, what's going to be interesting, though, is that Dominique Anglade was the economic development minister when this went down under the Liberal government. So now in her leadership run, and if she becomes leader of the Liberals, that could be an angle of attack for the CAQ, and even during the leadership race within the Liberal Party.
As one texter reminds me, François Legault recently suggested a boycott of Rona, and I guess Lowe's is like, haha, you can't boycott us if we close down all the stores. Pretty good strategy. Okay, let's talk about the Olympics. and bringing the Olympics back to Montreal. David Shoemaker. I love people with names like Shoemaker because, like 500 years ago, their parents' parent, their dad's dad's was a shoemaker. David Shoemaker says he wants the games back in Montreal on a scale of 1 to 100. How much do you want the Olympics, summer or winter, back in Montreal?
I would love to have the Olympics back in Montreal with absolutely zero in the way of taxpayer investment. Can I have that? It'd be 100. 100%. I'm all in favor. This is the most self-serving endorsement of Montreal hosting again that I have ever seen. The head of the Canadian Olympic Committee talking about how great it would be to keep, fans of the sports engaged and to help its partners. Whoopie doop. As a taxpayer, I don't think it's my job to help your supporters. I don't think it's my job to keep sports fans engaged.
David Heurtel, you're salivating. You're salivating. It's your baby Olympic Stadium. You just want to see it used again.
Yeah, I would. But the thing is that this makes me think of, the rock stars that go to each city and he comes to Montreal, the rock star comes to Montreal and says, I love Montreal, you're the best. And he goes to the next night, another city and says exactly the same thing. So I'm sure this guy, when he goes to Moose Jaw, he says, Moose Jaw should host the Olympics. So what is he going to say? Of course he's going to say Montreal should host the Olympics.
Let's put the context in there because Tokyo's getting the Olympic Games, right? In 2020, the Summer Games are in Tokyo. It's 56 years between the last Olympics in Tokyo and the one that's coming up. So I think, he's saying, hey, listen, happened in Tokyo.
Oh, happened in Los Angeles. Yeah. Happened in London, Paris.
Why not Montreal then?
Why not? But the thing is, again, I don't think there's an appetite for it. One. Two, let's remember, we were the first Olympics ever to do a deficit. There's still scars there. The thing is that we've been able to transform the Olympic Park into something that is contributing.
Oh, it's so contributing, David?
Oh, come on. It's better than it was. Come on, guys. We've transformed it. It's not perfect. Yep. But we've done work. We've reached out to the community. We have year-round outdoor free programming.
I'm sure Lowe's wants to buy it turned into a hardware store too.
No, but the thing is, there's no appetite for this, and there's no money for this. We're going to have the debate around the baseball stadium.
Yeah,
should there be public money there? Let's talk about that first before we even think about the Olympics. There's no appetite there.
I think one of the stated goals of the boss of the Canadian Olympic Committee, or one of the advantages he points out, is that host cities get lasting infrastructure. I think we can argue that what we got was lasting debt for our infrastructure, but the Olympic Stadium, is it being used for any athletic events anymore?
Monster truck?
Yes.
Monster truck?
Oh, that's an athletic event. That's a sport now, quote unquote sport, a motorized sport. Okay. The velodrome. Didn't the velodrome disappear?
Yes, it's a zoo now.
Okay,
it's the biodome.
Right.
It's a biodome. Okay, so what else? We got the pool. I think we got, or wasn't a pool converted? So
no, the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the pool.
It's
an
Olympic pool. There's still Swimming Canada does major events. This is World Cup level.
Well, that's something for our billions.
What if it was the Winter Games, guys? It's small.
We don't have the mountain. We don't have high enough. We don't have mountains that are high enough.
Even nowhere. Tremblant wouldn't work.
No,
we couldn't do it.
No, we're not regulation.
I think we could ship it out to that hill near Quebec City as long as they extend the run out over the St. Lawrence River.
That's it.
That I saw a proposal
Le Massif.
And wasn't there a proposal for Lake Placid, right?
Yeah. To do the skiing.
That could work. If we could work with our existing infrastructure, because what spooks me on this is the cost of the infrastructure. If we could work with our existing infrastructure in partnership with, Montreal, Quebec City, Lake Placid, and have a group hosting, that would be great.
That's the only way to pay for these things, because otherwise you're going to have like Trump saying, joint bid with Canada and we'll get Mexico to pay for it. Something like that. Welcome back to the panel as we barrel through 5 big topics of the day. It's Trudie Mason and David Heurtel in studio with me. Also in studio is a whiteboard. Now, picture this. There's a whiteboard in the CJAD 800 studio. 95% of the time, it is completely bare. There's nothing on it. As with most whiteboards, you put them up and then you never use them, right? So earlier in the week, I said, okay, we got to use this. It's completely blank. So I went to the whiteboard and I wrote a sign that says, it has been, and then a big area for a number, 1, and then weeks since the CAQ tried to fix something that wasn't broken. We're at 1 week, okay? Let's see if we get to 2. The premier of this province, Premier Legault, says that he is open to reinforcing Bill 101 and that he has put his guy on it, right? The guy that's had to backtrack on 18 million things, Simon Jolin Barrette, on it. Now, I keep wondering, why this government is so interested in fixing things that aren't broken. There's no problem. Let's find a solution. So I've been thinking about this, and it also made me think of a sketch comedy show that I watch, and it's really good. It's called I Think You Should Leave. It's on Netflix. Comedian named Tim Robinson. And there's one particular sketch that I find so absolutely hilarious. It takes place in a focus group. I'm going to play you some audio now to set the stage for you in your cars, you in your homes who are going to listen to this. It takes place in a conference room. And there's one guy standing in front of all the people around this conference table. He's the guy that's leading the focus group. And I want you to listen to this, and you're going to hear a whole bunch of people throwing out ideas. And then try and guess, which is the guy that represents the CAQ government? Have a listen.
We here at Ford would like to thank you all for agreeing to be part of this focus group. Your ideas will actually be used in helping us create a brand new model. There are no wrong answers, so let's go around the room and you just go ahead and call out features you'd love to see implemented in your ideal car, whenever you're ready.
Bluetooth capabilities?
Great.
Voice-activated lights.
Perfect.
Satellite radio.
Extra cup holders?
And a phone holder.
A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving.
Rear view camera.
Comfy seats.
A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off your hand while you're driving.
Automatic side view mirrors?
A great steering wheel that doesn't whiz out of the window while I'm driving. That is a good idea.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, nice.
So we've been driving cars for how long? A steering wheel has never flown off your car, right? It's never happened before. There's never been an accident because the steering wheel disconnects from the vehicle. And this guy's there, and all he wants is a car where the steering wheel stays in place. And this is the CAQ government for me, right? They look at the car and they're like, how can we improve the car? What's wrong with the car today? And they're like, hey, the steering wheel, let's make sure it doesn't fly off.
Thing is, Elias, the CAC feels that there's a lot of people in the regions of Quebec, older, francophone, French-speaking, Québécois, the souche, that feel that their steering wheel may fly off. And the thing is that they're talking to that base. And the thing is, especially after the horrible last 3 weeks that this government has, like the honeymoon is over, the school board's fiasco, and not only on the English side, on the French side too, by the way, the school board bill is a complete fiasco. This is going to be postponed, more consultations. They're postponing other bills. The French language reform is going to be postponed as well because Simon-Jeanin Barrette has to clean up the regs on immigration before getting to language. But what this government is doing is going back to their perceived strength, which is nationalism, therefore French defense, and stirring up that base. Remember, they're thinking about 3 years from now, election. They got 37.5% of the vote last time around. They want to build on that, and the votes they need to go get are those diehard PQ voters, and which voted there's 15% there to go get. So that's where they're going, and they're trying to get back on message, on track to the bread and butter issues that got them elected.
Well, they're also being goaded by the PQ. That whole exchange that led to this, was it not provoked by a question from the PQ? Yeah. What are you going to do about the 70% of Francophone Quebecers who feel that the language is more threatened or now whatever? So I think they are falling for the bait again and again. They're chomping on the hook that's been set for them by the Parti Québécois, which is hoping to show them as lackluster and not seeing the urgency to act. And I think they're dumb playing into it because it's going to rush them into something that I think may end up being a big old embarrassment.
And that's the thing, right? If they come up with another situation that is an embarrassment that ends up making worldwide headlines and they've got to backtrack, they actually have to be really careful And Simon Jolet-Barrette has never showed that he's good at being careful on these things.
And another thing on your whiteboard report is when will we see a CAC bill that isn't contested in the courts? I mean, all of them. I mean, the bill on the school boards is contested before the courts. Everything that Jolet-Barrette has done so far is before the courts. Everything is before the courts. And the reason why Bill 101 hasn't gone where the CAC is proposing to go, even under PQ governments, was because it could not resist not a court challenge under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, under the Quebec Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which was adopted, by the way, by a Liberal government originally, and then kept on going by the Lévesque and PQ successive governments.
Let's talk about another contentious bill then, because this is a little nugget. I don't think a lot of people knew about this, and it's Vice reporting this. We're going to actually have the journalist that did this report on at 10:30 during our In Transit segment. But in Bill 17, you know, the bill to modernize the taxi industry, tucked away, amended at the last second, is a little clause that says that all taxi companies, all the Uber companies, all the ride-sharing companies have to send the geolocation data for all trips to municipal governments, any other municipal body that Quebec wants these companies to transfer to. Now, there's two ways you can go about this. Like, oh my God, an invasion of privacy, not necessary, that kind of stuff. But also there's a flip side here. So just think if the government says, okay, all of this data, you have to send it to the STM. And let's say it's anonymized, I hope, fingers crossed. And then the STM sees, oh my goodness, there's so many people that take Ubers from point A to point B. We should put a bus line between these 2 points. I mean, I could see the benefits, but as you see this, when you hear this story, you're like, whoa, this is our data, stay clear. Or you're like, no, you're already giving it to Uber. What's the big deal if the government gets it too?
You have to be careful. Again, but usually on privacy issues, the government always starts off with these amazing intentions, and then it goes off the rails, and that's the issue. And again, this bill is going to be challenged before the courts because this is not clear. The way the bill is written, it's not clear. There are privacy statutes that are already in place, both provincially and federally. You just can't take personal information and just give it away and then use it the way you want. If it's just general statistics, that's one thing. But if you can identify individuals and you can relate the data to one specific person or group of persons, then you're crossing the line. And that's where the details aren't clear.
Yeah, I worry about that. I the anonymization pledge, I don't trust it.
I didn't even know if there's a pledge there, actually. But so I'll find out at 10:30, get the full details there. But that's an interesting question.
And I think, too, it's not worth very much when you think about it. On my street, for example, how often do you think someone on my little street in Pierrefonds calls an Uber? Not very often. So if I call an Uber and it's the only Uber to go to that street in 2 days, well, it ain't that hard to figure out. To extrapolate. Or if a lot of people are taking Ubers to one particular location, the police may take an interest in that and wonder what's going on in that location. I'm not against law enforcement. I'm not against transit companies getting information that may improve service. But, even in the jurisdictions where they have anonymize the data and they also generalize it, so it's not down to a street and number, it's down to a nearest intersection, or in some cases it's just down to a neighborhood. Even then, I would like to see some restrictions on who can see it and for what purposes. That's what really I'm flummoxed by. What's the purpose of this? Who's going to be able to use this?
And why was it it wasn't in the original bill. It was thrown in at the last second. So why was that just tucked away in there? What were why not be open and upfront if you want this kind of data?
It was an amendment during the article by article study of the bill. It wasn't put out there. It was last minute. It wasn't in the original version of the bill, which was made public for consultation. So this is something that seems to have just been shooed in at the last minute. And this is going to need more scrutiny and more attention.
And every taxi company has an app now, right? Sure. They may not be as good or as polished, but
they have data. Yeah. And now this is the game. The real battle's on everything. It always ends up who controls the data, who has the data, and that has real value.
Can I ask, though, in what other industry would that be acceptable for government to go and say, we want real-time data on your customers? We want to know what they're buying and where they're taking it. would any other industry say yes to that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
So why is it? And I'm not a huge fan of these ride sharing things. I think they came in and they were not good community citizens, and I think they created a lot of upheaval, and they broke the rules and flaunted the gray areas. But I understand why people may be reluctant, and why this industry, I think, should be reluctant to say, "Oh yeah, we'll turn over all that. You're entitled to know where we're shipping our customers."
60 seconds left here to discuss the news that we're getting. It seems like everything's leaking about this Trudeau cabinet shuffle. And it truly is a shuffle. I mean, if you put these people, into a box and shook up the box, everyone's portfolio would change. It seems like this is what's happening. There's only a few people that are staying what they are. Catherine McKenna will no longer be Environment Minister. Chrystia Freeland going to be the Deputy Prime Minister. Just some thoughts here on this huge shakeup in the seconds we have left.
We'll see. But for a government that's a minority, that won with basically 33% of the popular vote, you would expect, we'll see, because this is all rumored. This is not yet confirmed, but reports seem to be unanimous on what's coming. And it seems to be leaked by the government, what we know so far. But if this is true, this doesn't send the type of message you want to hear to build trust and confidence, because this is basically the same people, just different chairs.
Counterpoint, if you're in Western Canada, you're sending the message, we've changed everything. We're trying to listen. We're throwing everything out the window and piecing things together differently.
We'll see who gets energy. We'll see who gets, the key portfolios that really matter for Western Canada. But what you're seeing so far, what we've heard, bizarrely, Stephen Guilbeault going at Heritage, not Environment. Bizarre.
Well, you can't put the fox in charge of the hen house.
I'm agreeing, but by being a minister, he's going to have to agree and show solidarity with decisions on Trans Mountain. That's going to be a show. That's going to be interesting. And it seems with the nominations that we've heard so far that he wants more room for Quebec, and that's where he wants to gain seats next time around.
I love you both. Thank you so much for coming in. A great panel, Trudie Mason and David Heurtel on this one.